back. It's season 6. We hope everyone has been safe, happy, and healthy during our off season from the Otafest podcast. Otafest has been hosting mini events across our digital platform over the summer with more plans and more activities for our community waiting to be announced for the late summer and fall, so please keep an eye out for that. As for the podcast, we're still rolling out episodes on Wednesdays with new segments and topics to be discussed. Thanks for joining us every week. I'm Nancy.
I'm Jay.
Angelo.
He's Angelo. I'm Jay. What's
I'm
up?
Jay.
No, you're not. Get away from me.
I'm Nancy.
Evidently, being away from each other for this many weeks has been detrimental to our health.
I don't know what health is anymore. I don't know what time is anymore. It doesn't matter. I hope everyone's been good. I hope everyone's been healthy and safe and finding ways to keep themselves active and just mentally healthy somehow, emotionally engaged, because it's been difficult. I can't believe we're already halfway through August at this point.
It doesn't feel like March ever ended. It really
Yeah.
doesn't.
March just kept
Despite
marching
the fact
on.
that it's still nicer outside, it still doesn't feel
Oh,
like
it got too hot.
we had a summer. We had a summer, but we didn't really have it, you know?
It's true.
Yeah. Summer
Uh,
just didn't happen.
yeah, Stampede didn't happen,
Yeah.
which is wild. But I didn't really miss it, to be honest.
Same.
But
lot
hockey
of-
games are back.
Yeah, hockey sports are slowly coming back. Whether that's a good idea or not, from a sort of health and safety perspective, is up for debate. But
Mhm.
honestly, it is kind of nice in the sense that even if you're not a huge sports fan, it just does help the world feel a little bit more normal. Whether that's worth anything.
It's like that 2-week period between anime seasons where nothing airs at all, except stretched out for months at a time for sports fans. Like, it's legitimately hard.
right.
Been a real dry spell, yeah.
Yeah. The weather got pretty crazy hot, but it had a really rainy summer before that, so it was kind of weird. Everything's been a little bit weird in general. I don't. Oh, actually, someone pointed out, or I've seen it cycled around the internet a few times, is that looking forward, because of the inability to plan for things, to anticipate the future right now, the world seems to be moving at a very slow pace, but looking backwards, it seems to have gone by very quickly. Like I can't believe
Yeah.
we're in August, but I can't fathom how long it's going to take to get to December, for example. It's just so weird.
Oh, yeah. That's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But have you guys been dealing with this heat wave rolling through?
As far as that goes for us, last year we bought like a kind of crappy just portable air conditioner unit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really have to take drastic steps to make sure that it properly works. But
drastic how?
well, I shouldn't say drastic. It's not that drastic, but things like you have to close the blinds to make sure that the sun doesn't get in. We have to make sure we have to like cut out a cardboard piece to slot into like the balcony door because that's the only place where we have for the exhaust hose.
Right.
And so the last thing we have to do is for the stairs, because this thing, it's only good for about 300 square feet, and our upstairs office area is closer to like 500 square feet, maybe 600 square feet. So we also have to like use a sheet to block off the stairs to keep hot air from rising into the upstairs.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
And with that, if you take all those steps, it will keep the upstairs reasonably cool.
Comfortable, at least.
Yeah, comfortable. But if you miss any one of those things, then it's like, okay, you're spending 600 watts or 1,000 watts, I don't know how much it is, to cool the room like 1 degree lower.
It's only been about 2 weeks of hot summer, I feel like. We also have an air conditioner. We don't have central, but our space is fairly small compared. So it's not been too bad when we have the aircon on. Excuse me, I'm burping. Looking sort of forward always to rain and like windier nights just to help cool things down though. Like today's been a nice cool day for the most part.
Today was great.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to being able to sleep easily. That's like the biggest thing. I don't really care about how hot it is in the day. I just want it to be cool at night so I can sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear ya. It feels like you're braising in your own bed sometimes
Ugh.
when it's really hot.
Like I already
Bed soup, my
yeah.
favorite.
I
Yep.
always try and take a shower before bed, regardless if it's hot or not, but I definitely notice it more on hot nights because I'm like extra grimy, you know? There's
In
that
the morning
feeling
when
of
you wake up.
no,
Ooh.
at night even, just before
Oh,
you go to bed, because like you feel like there's salt crystal buildup on your skin from the sweats, and
in
you're
your
still hot.
hair.
Yeah, it's just bad, man.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
like I
fun.
just got out of the ocean.
Yeah, extra salty. Uh,
Except it's just my own juices.
yeah.
Yay.
How's
Um,
your sleepless nights, Nancy?
heat situation.
Yeah.
So we started noticing that the house was heating up from the patio windows because they're huge and they face directly east. And first thing in the morning, I'd come downstairs and I work in the dining room now because we don't go to the office. But the dining room is like my impromptu office space. And yeah, we'd come downstairs and it was already like 26, 27 in the house because the sun was just coming through the patio windows and just heating everything up. So we ended up buying some blackout curtains, which helped a lot. And then the heat wave really hit. And at that point we were just like, we got to go turn that air conditioner on. Now, keep in mind we've been trying to turn the air conditioner on all summer. We haven't figured out what it is. I was all convinced that it was like a special setting on the thermostat that I just haven't been able to find in that very not complicated menu that it's got on it. Couldn't figure it out. Finally, my dad came over and took a look at it, and he goes, "Yeah, you're missing a power cable to your unit." And we're like, there's no power to the unit? Are you telling me they sold us this place and they never tested the damn thing? So we call the builder out on it and they're just like, oh, well, it doesn't turn on if it's, if there's a condenser in it and it's not supposed to turn on if it's hot, if it isn't hotter than 15 degrees. And I'm like, have you been in Calgary for the last month? The last time it dipped below 17 was like a month ago. Anyway, we made them come. They fixed it. It's finally comfortable. I finally have an air
Nice.
conditioner. Everyone has been telling me at work, "Oh, we're getting air conditioning installed this week." And I'll be like, "I have one. It just doesn't effing work. It sucks."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a feels bad. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I as much as like I like having, heat in the winter, but I would generally just prefer to have air conditioning in every house I lived in, because of the general philosophy that it's a lot easier to warm up than it is to cool down.
To cool
Always.
down? Oh, totally. I
Always.
agree. This
Yeah.
is the first time I've lived in a place that has air conditioning. I wasn't like looking for a place with air conditioning when we were looking. It was just a really nice bonus. But the fact is that it finally came time to like use it and make good use of it, and it wasn't actually functional.
Right. But I would also contend that for anybody who's like, lives in any place that has decent summers, that once you have air conditioning in a place, whether you rent or own it, you never want to go back. You just don't.
It's
No.
hard.
Like
It's one of those
Central Air
things
is
you
the
never
best,
thought
but
you would
Yeah.
need.
Central
oh
air is
hell no,
absolutely
hell
great.
no. I always knew that I would need it.
Really?
Oh hell yeah.
Man, I like grew up without air conditioning. Most of the places I've lived in didn't have air conditioning. And like you find ways to make it work, but it is significantly more comfortable, obviously, after you've had it.
Like I grew up around the Great Lakes, and it was a drastic difference of the houses I lived in that did have air conditioning versus the ones that didn't have air conditioning, because it doesn't just make the air colder, it also gets rid of a lot of the humidity, and
Yes.
that's where a lot of the
Well,
comfort comes from.
that's how it
Oh,
mostly
that's a good
works.
point.
That's how it mostly works, is that it removes humidity from the air. That's the first
Like
and primary sort of like way that it
the
removes heat
reality
from the
is,
air.
air conditioners were invented to dehumidify, and the fact that they could also make air colder was a
Yes.
nice little bonus. That's how they were
Mm.
invented.
Mm-hmm. And it's been surprisingly humid in Calgary this
It
summer.
has been. It's crazy. I don't understand what's going on in Calgary. Why is it like muggy out there? It's supposed to be dry.
It's strange, I gotta say. But it must be quite a throwback to where you grew up because you just said you grew up by the Great Lakes.
Yeah, I've been wondering why the hell did I move out here in the first place?
Mhm.
It's just more of the same. I don't understand.
No, there's definitely benefits to dry, as in like there's fewer pests in dry conditions. There's fewer things don't mold so easily in
True.
dry conditions. There's actually a lot of benefits that people who grow up in dry environments don't understand until they move to an area that's like generally more humid. Like I can have bread, not sitting out necessarily, but like I can buy bread and it won't go bad for up to 2 weeks. Whereas in humid environments, that bread is fucked in like 4 days because of
Yeah.
humidity. It's actually a
You're
thing. And I don't eat
no,
bread that
you're
quickly.
absolutely right. The other one that I've heard the most, and this is from like friends who have very curly hair, they hate visiting humid places because their hair becomes completely uncontrollable while they're on vacation there.
Right.
And then like people, from other places when they come here, they're like, "Oh my God, it's so dry. I need like a glass of water right now." And then they go, "But my hair feels great."
Angelo doesn't have
I
to
never
worry
really
about that.
noticed that. I never really noticed that for myself personally.
You don't exactly have a lot to stand on that for that foot, hey.
You never saw me, I don't think, while I had long hair. But when I moved
No.
out here, I had long curly hair down to my shoulders.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah,
Oh my, I demand pictures.
they exist.
I feel like you've
Exist.
Go
seen
look at
some
my
photos.
Facebook or something. They exist.
Hmm. I shall go digging for them. But yeah, I mean, like, how did it feel when you came here and you still had curly long hair?
Like I was saying, I didn't really notice anything particularly different in the hair department, but I never really did much work for my hair otherwise. Like all I ever did was shampoo it every few days and condition it every day, and that was about it. I didn't think about it beyond that.
Well, see, that's another thing. You actually used conditioner. Most guys I've grown up with were like, "No, I don't need conditioner. I just need shampoo," and that was
But we don't
all they
really
ever used.
yeah,
The
but even the
conditioner acts as
conditioner
lubricant because
Indeed.
I could only ever comb it in the shower with conditioner in it.
Yes.
And if I ever touched it outside of those conditions, it would turn into like
Okay.
an absolute fluffy afro.
But I want to make a
Mm.
note on that, which is like, and it has to do with something else that I was doing over the summer. Even then, conditioner for dudes is not really a big deal as it is maybe for women. And part of this has to do with marketing for like, sort of personal care products or hygiene products in general, because we just don't get marketed stuff the same way that ladies do. Like, it's always 3,000 different products for ladies for hair and skin and whatever other products. And for guys, it's like 6-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, toilet cleaner,
Face
car
cleanser.
degreaser, and
Oh,
and
God.
like printer toner. Like it's everything. That's one thing.
It
But
sounds
like,
like a joke, but like I
yeah,
just use body wash on my head now that I don't have hair.
right. And
I mean,
I like
and
don't really have separate soap for the rest of my body. I just use what's left over from my hair in the shampoo, and I'm just like, this will clean, and it does.
and another part of this whole conditioner fiasco though is like guys just generally, and I don't say this as a genericism, just like traditionally most of the guys I've known have had short hair. So there
Yes.
isn't that much for you to condition anyway.
There
Whereas if
really
you
isn't.
have hair that's as long as mine, there's a little bit more chance of snagging and you want to worry about things like conditioner.
Right. I So one of the things that I was doing over the podcast break and just during COVID, because I felt like I had some more time at home, was like I started trying some skincare products. Not because of, honestly, not because of a lot of reasons. I just tried doing it because it was interesting, something I haven't done before. It doesn't really cost too much, but I was doing some like skincare mask stuff for like your face. People know that last season at the end there I did the foot exfoliating thing, which is pretty
Mm-hmm.
freaking crazy in terms of the
And how
feel.
has that held up since?
It hasn't because I'm still on my feet a lot and I haven't
Mm.
reapplied it, but I do have another package of it, so I could use that pretty soon and do it again. I just I almost want like a full not like a full week off necessarily, but I want some time because I don't really want to be having it peel while I'm at work and I'm on my feet. Um,
That's fair.
You
yeah.
don't want to slip on your own peeling skin.
No, it's not that. I just feel like it's gonna be like walking on wet socks, except it's my foot skin.
Just imagine slipping on a banana skin, except it's like the
Your own
the
feet.
skin of your foot coming off
Yeah,
and you're slipping off
and
of that.
it's got like a squeak to it.
Oh,
Yeah, but I was trying on a like a cleansing because like here's the other thing. I don't really take care of my skin very much. I don't really care that much, but it just was something interesting to do, and I'm learning a lot about sort of what you can do to take care of your skin a little bit more. We do live in a really dry environment, so it doesn't help us at all. Um, I don't have too much problem with my skin, I guess, but could probably use a little help sometimes.
Hmm.
And the thing that I was talking about earlier is that there's nothing wrong with guys trying to take care of themselves, skincare, makeup if some guys want to do it, because the truth is it's not gender specific. It's just how you want to feel about yourself, right?
Yep, totally.
Uh, some of the stuff I
I
have,
want my skin to double as sandpaper.
well, you
Good for
can't.
you. You're
Uh,
well on your way.
but some of the stuff has some really weird things I saw, like bubbling clay masks. I
Oh.
don't really know what those mean yet. I don't have one. I didn't buy one of those. I've got like a sea salt mask and some other
Hmm.
stuff, and they feel really interesting. I would recommend it. Angela, you should try some.
Okay.
What's your favorite product that you've tried so far, and why?
It's still probably the foot thing, just because it really delivered results. Like,
It was very dramatic.
yeah, like I would say like the stuff that I put on my skin is like I feel stuff, but I don't really know if I've done anything particularly um I don't know if I've gotten like a lot of results. Let's put it that way.
What you're
Like
saying is the results from a lot of products could be placebo effectively.
could be.
It could also
It could be
be
like,
that,
"Ooh, does it feel smoother or do I just imagine it feels smoother?"
But I also like
yeah.
Whereas with a foot peel, it's like, "Holy shit, it's like I lost an entire foot's worth of skin and now there's
exactly. Like
baby new skin underneath."
it's very
Holy
dramatic, right?
cow.
Like I'm gonna go ahead
Yeah.
and say that, like I have Asian genetics and I don't really feel like I have a lot of wrinkles or a lot of uh sort of or aging effects on my skin yet. I know that some of it is like this is an ounce of prevention in a manner of speaking, but I don't really even care about that. I just wanted to see how it feels like, and if I do feel like I'm treating myself to something, which is kind of nice too. But I
It could
will
also
say the
be
skin results for
that.
the foot thing are much more pronounced.
Well, so it can also be so coming from I guess many more years of looking into skincare. Good skincare helps your skin recover not overnight. Like it's really hard to ask for overnight results from skincare, especially if your skin is doing okay. You're not going to notice that difference right away. It's something that, happens over a couple of weeks. So if you're not consistently applying something or you're not like consistently changing your regimen to match a specific problem, you're
Right.
probably not going to see overnight results. Like something as dramatic as the foot peel is very rare to see unless you're going in to a dermatologist to get like your wrinkles lasered off.
Right. And I saw um when I was looking at the packages in like the drugstore, there was one that was like it said uh exfoliating for face, and I was wondering if it was gonna peel my face off.
No. So usually if it's like a facial exfoliant, there could be one of two things. It's either chemical or physical. The physical ones are usually the scrubs. So they expect you to like, put this on your face and scrub it around a bit. and it
That
should be
sounds
Ooh, you
taking.
terrible.
shouldn't use those on your face, should you?
That
No,
sounds
you really
terrible.
shouldn't
Dio was
be.
telling me about some crazy walnut scrub thing that was
Oh,
advertised for people's faces, and then
yes,
suddenly
St.
everyone's face was
Ives.
tearing off. I
Right.
don't
Yes,
know.
it
I
was
don't
an
know what the thing
apricot
was going on.
scrub. So it was an
That's the one.
apricot scrub, and it is literally apricot like pits that have been crushed, and you don't want that tearing up your skin.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
the other
terrifying.
one
tearing your
is
skin is bad.
the other one is the chemical exfoliation, and all these do is it's supposed to just loosen up all of the dead skin on your face, so that as you wash your face over the next little while, it should be coming off as you wash. So you shouldn't notice it
Right.
immediately right away.
So
And those ones are definitely safer slash more recommended than a physical exfoliant for sure.
on a unrelated note, but I can tie it to this. I recently went out to there's a European deli that's in my neighborhood. It's about a block away. It's a local
Ooh.
mom and pop kind of shop. I really like them because they make fresh everything and their sandwiches are pretty good. But they also sell sort of like basic groceries and they sell like jams that are sort of Eastern European in region and stuff like that. And I
Jay,
found a
Mm.
pineapple spread. It's like a pineapple
did you
jam.
put pineapple spread on your face?
I was wondering if I should, or not should, but I was wondering if you could, in the sense that it would have bromeliase, which is something that you can usually put, like you can marinate meat in
Yeah,
pineapple
it's a
juice.
tenderizer.
It's a
'cause it
tenderizer.
like partially digests
Yeah,
flesh.
it's actually like acidic to that point. I was
Oh,
wondering
that's the
if that
enzyme in
would be
pineapples.
useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it wouldn't be a new thing because like
Is-
people have been making things with papaya enzyme for a long time
Is
as
that
well
similar?
because papaya also has it.
Oh, I didn't know
But
that.
it's not a new idea. It's definitely been thought of. I've never tried it, but if
I
you
mean,
do,
I'm not gonna
please,
do
please
it
use
because I
caution.
don't want to waste good jam that I could be using on my waffles. That's
But I mean, have you guys ever done that thing where you've had too much pineapple and your mouth just feels sore all
No.
over?
No,
I
don't
just
usually have
Never.
very much pineapple.
Well,
Oh,
too
it's-
bad for Dio.
Yeah. That's, okay.
I know exactly what you're referencing, Jay.
I don't
Oh,
know what
boy.
I'm referencing at all.
I know exactly what you're referencing.
But yeah, like I don't know.
Oh.
I like pineapple a lot, and if I ever had that feeling, Nancy, I'd stop eating it for until as long as it takes to get that feeling to go away, and then I'll have more pineapple.
Yeah, usually it's like an overnight thing. Your mouth just needs to recover from too much acid.
Fair enough.
But that's all it is. But like I've had lots of fresh cut. I bought this whole pineapple. I cut it all up myself, and I ate a lot of it in one sitting. And yeah, your mouth starts to feel really raw after a bit.
Right.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, I could see where that comes from because like I've definitely tenderized enough meat with pineapple juice that you see it sort of dissolve a little bit if you leave it for too long. It's definitely a thing.
Yep.
On
I,
actually,
for one, have
yeah.
not been using creams or pineapple jams or any of that for my body. I've just been lifting my body.
You've been lifting
That's
your
that's
body.
all I've been doing.
I think I lift my body every day when I wake up from bed.
At the beginning of June, a couple friends in a Discord wanted to start like a fitness challenge,
Right.
which wasn't so much about doing a certain thing, but more like just log what you're doing, try to lose weight, do whatever.
Whatever
And so
makes
from
you
the
feel
beginning
healthier,
of June
right?
to the end of July, I went from being able to do 5 push-ups in a day to about 40 push-ups, again over the course of the day, not at one point in time, but
Right.
over the course of the day, along with a few other exercises. And over the course of the 2 months, I lost about 10 pounds, which is pretty good, I think.
Nice.
I want to
Respectable.
keep going. But having that said, the reality is that was only over about a month and a half, because like halfway through July, I don't know what I did, but like one of my hamstrings was just super fucking sore. I just could not use my left leg for a little while for
Mhm.
anything
Oof.
more than like standing.
Oof.
And so like anything using leg exercises or like push-ups or anything, I just couldn't do for a while. And then a few days later, I slept on my left arm wrong, and so it was just sore for a week and a half. And I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So I lost like 2 weeks of being able to do stuff. And I was like, what the hell?
I had
But
a similar incident.
I noticed like my upper body is looking a little bit more toned.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, I lost a decent amount of weight, and I feel really good about it.
Good. I'm I know that people are sort of keeping up with things like that because gyms aren't really open. I
Yeah,
think it's always good to have friends that can help you sort of keep accountable in a way. Like they're not necessarily going to call you out, but they are there to support you and also be like, hey, keep it up. So that's always a good thing. I've been
Mm-hmm.
bicycling,
exactly.
Oh, nice.
which is something that I've always done, not like consistently, but when I
Oh,
was younger,
I
I
screwed
used to
up the
bike a
back
lot,
brake on my bike.
and I bike a lot. Like I'll do about I usually my baseline's about 15 kilometers over the course of about an hour, 40 minutes to an hour, about 15
Sounds about right.
15K, and then but sometimes I'll go for longer, like 2.5 hours, and get like 30 about 30K in, which is nice. Like just riding
Nice.
around a lot of the parks and sort of areas that are slightly uptown of the Beltline area. But it's been good and kind of new learning about some new parks and pathways, which is pretty good. Even though it's been hot outside, it's kind of just put your head down. If you pedal, you'll create your own breeze, which is not bad either.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about biking is you just notice more of what's around you.
It's true.
Partly because you're going a little bit slower than driving, partly because you're closer to everything than when you're driving.
Also, if you don't watch
And you
out,
don't
you'll
have to
get into
worry
an
about
accident.
other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Have you been doing anything, Nancy?
For exercise,
Yeah.
so going back to Angelo's thing about just like I randomly woke up one day and my neck was effed.
Oof.
Ooh.
I couldn't like turn it. I couldn't tilt my head. I couldn't like I was like rightly screwed for neck motion. I made an appointment with my massage therapist before I got out of bed that day. Like I was having such a hard time. And then yeah, of course, 2 weeks later, she starts working on it. It's doing better, but I've got a couple of ribs out, so they're kind of stopping me from doing a lot of yoga that I used to do. But
Wait, you have ribs out? You don't have
oh
ribs?
yeah, I have a couple of ribs. They were completely taken out, real tasty on the barbecue, but
So
kind of
you gotta do
regretting
Nice.
what
that
you gotta
now.
do to survive. But what happened there? That's a side
I
story.
Yeah, so I don't, there wasn't a specific incident where this happened. It's a repetitive thing that has happened to me over the past probably 10 years, and it's never stuck around. Usually, if I have a couple of ribs out, they just sort of like I sleep on my back for a couple of nights and it fixes itself. But this time it didn't. So I had to go to a chiropractor for the first time in 5 years, and she couldn't put them back in. She was like, I need you to come back in 3 more days. You're going to feel really beat up tomorrow, but I need to see you again in 3 days.
Ooh.
I need to finish putting these back in. So that's gonna be Monday. I get to go back and see her.
That
Well, that
is,
doesn't sound fun at all.
yeah, that's a
That
big
doesn't
no
sound like
bueno.
barbecuing ribs at all.
No,
Hmm.
Oh, that is not a happy barbecue.
No, it's not the kind of ribs you guys like, unfortunately.
it
Nope.
sure isn't. Um, I would
As
love to
far
go out
as
for
you know.
ribs. I had a barbecue sort of recently. That was kind of nice. Just get some wings out and some
Mm,
ribs. It was good, but
that's nice.
haven't really done a lot of food stuff this summer, understandably. It's just sort of regular
Oh
things.
God, speaking of food stuff, I had basmati rice for the first time this whole year. So typically, if I ever had basmati rice, it was because we went out for Indian or like we went out for a cuisine that involved basmati rice. We haven't done that all year. I had it for the first time yesterday because we went to House of Kebab, and ah it was so good. It was just like I didn't realize I missed a specific type of rice. It's like these little things that you miss during this whole pandemic.
I I think I understand. Like I tried to satisfy a lot of my food cravings earlier on. Like I just ordered takeout, or when we had the first sort of big dip in numbers, I was like, I'm gonna go out just for a little bit here, get those cravings out of the way so they just stop bothering me because I do love food and it bothers me when I can't have certain food that, I really like.
Hmm.
In the sense that like, I'm not gonna die not having it, but I'm like, oh boy, I wish we could go out for something like this. But I've scratched most of those itches by now, so I don't really think about it as much.
Honestly, I hadn't really thought specifically about this. Like the thing that, and I told you guys this before the end of the last season, that the thing I craved the most was sushi, because that's not
Mm,
really something that I can make at home.
right.
And ordering sushi in that first time during the pandemic was just like, oh yeah, I feel like everything's gonna be okay. This just makes everything so much better.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize on a conscious level that I missed something as simple as basmati rice, just a specific type of rice that I don't usually have, that I
Mm.
still used to get occasionally, and just haven't had for the whole of
Wouldn't
2020.
you wouldn't want to just go out and buy it and make it at home?
Oh, like that, yes, that's totally something I could do. It just wasn't something I ever thought I needed to get when I went
Oh,
out
I
grocery
see.
shopping.
Interesting.
It wasn't a conscious like, oh, I really miss having butter chicken. I'm gonna make
Right.
butter chicken tonight. Like it wasn't something I specifically recognized the way that I recognized I really miss sushi.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it was just weird. It was a weird realization that there are a lot of things I haven't had this year due to the pandemic being a thing.
Mhm.
And it was just something as simple as basmati rice. Just made my day.
Fair enough.
The last craving I had for food, and I actually satisfied it fairly recently, was I was missing kimbap, like
Mm,
Korean. I don't really want to call it a sushi roll, but it's like a sushi roll for anyone to not have it, except they usually use some kind of um, uh, major protein such as beef, chicken, or pork in it instead of fish or any kind of fish. Uh, but yeah, it was kind of nice to have it. It's more of a snack food, but something I wouldn't make at home in the same sort of vein. I would never really think of making kimbap at home, but it was nice. It is nice to just sort of pretend that things are not as messed up as they are, and while things are slowly getting better, it's just little bits of indulgence that kind of keep you going sometimes, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Have any of you worked on any major projects or done anything, I guess, big in the last couple months?
Nothing big, but I started working on like a bunch of different small things. A
What
bunch of
kind of
different small things.
what kind of bunch of different small things?
Right.
So I don't know if we ever mentioned it on the podcast, but right around the end of the last season, I started looking into like using Live 2D and face rig and stuff for like VTuber avatars and things like that. And so I actually created one and started streaming, just a few streams for myself. And so I've been catching up on projects that I could on stream, like doing some game dev projects that I've had on the back burner for like months now.
Hmm.
Nice.
So I finally got some sprite animations done that I started like January or last year sometime. I don't even know.
Is it
Uh,
weird to pick up things that you put down for so long?
Kind of, sort of, but not really. In
Hmm.
terms of like if it's an animation or something, you can just go back and start where you left off, and it's like nothing happened at all.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like the code base for a game dev project, it's more like how the fuck did everything work? And then you figure out how everything worked, and you're like, what? How the fuck did I put this together? This doesn't make sense. And I just want to slap past me every now and then, but at the same time, I don't want to put in the work to fix everything that past me screwed up. So present me is just going to have to deal with that. Another thing that happened right at the end of last season, I don't know if we ever mentioned it on podcast. Uh, Dio's dad's old car, we got that back from a mechanic, so it had been sitting for a decade, and we finally got it up and running again.
Ooh.
And
Did it
so it's an
take the
88
mechanic
Camaro.
a whole decade to do that, or was that like
We
you
we had
got
him
yeah?
working on it over winter.
Oh, I was like, did you have to get on their ass, or what's the deal?
No,
Do
no,
you
he
need
was great
someone to
about it.
polish up
I
the
see.
paint?
Oh, yes, we do. But we've already got someone in mind for that. But we were
Nice.
driving it around for about a month, and suddenly it stops turning on. And it's like, what the hell? This thing was just perfect.
Oof.
Hmm.
And so we start doing some troubleshooting. We get Dio's dad in on it. We ask the mechanic about it. And we finally get a couple things it could be. And so I go out and get those parts and I figure out how to replace them. And it starts turning on again. Huzzah!
Wow, nice work.
But the first thing we did with it was put in a radio because the old radio didn't work. And so that sounded great because Dio's dad, like 10 years or 15 years ago, put in like a really good stereo system in it. So this thing was fucking pounding. It was great. But as soon as I fix it, the radio doesn't work anymore. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? So last week, her dad's over, and he's looking at it, and he can't figure it out because, like, we checked the fuses. The fuses are all good. We checked the power lines to it. They're giving power, and I'm thinking, did somehow the part short out the radio? Because one of the parts they replaced was the ignition coil, and that sends like 40,000 volts or something to the spark plugs, and that can kill a radio if you like hit the radio with that, but that shouldn't be possible. I don't know. It turned out that when I installed the radio in the first place, I made a really shoddy quick disconnect connection on it. And so the fact that it ever worked in the first place, let alone worked for like 4 or 5 weeks at a time, was a miracle. It just shouldn't have lasted that long.
Technology.
And so we
More
replaced this
insulation.
one little connection, and it's perfect again.
Yeah. No, that's good. You probably learned a little something about quality
I've learned
workmanship.
so much. I
one thing.
actually spent like 2 weeks ago, there was a solid week where I was thinking of buying another car from the 80s for myself.
Wow.
Are you getting?
You're gonna
I
turn into
decided
a
not
project
to.
car guy.
You're getting into the midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you
Yeah.
were gonna buy like some kind of anime body pillow or
Waifu.
some kind of real doll, but no,
I
it
wish.
might
I
be
ended
a
up
car.
buying computer parts instead.
Oof. Well, I
Hmm.
mean, I'm still gonna upgrade my computer. I haven't done that yet, but did I tell you I parted it out, and it's probably gonna be about with monitors. It's probably gonna be about 45, I think, at this point.
Ouch. I could never drop that
Wow.
much at one point on anything.
Wow.
Well, I already
Oof.
did. I did. That's my thing that I did over the last couple.
Oh.
You did it?
Well, I guess I haven't been on webcam, so you haven't seen me in a bit, but I don't need glasses anymore.
Hooray!
Ah.
Yeah, I got them.
You got the laser juice
the
shot into
laser
your eyes.
eyes.
Welcome to the Laser Eye Club, Jay.
Yay.
So, how are you struggling with any dryness? Because when I had it done, the first month my eyes were pretty dry.
I would
And
say
then they
that my eyes are
normalized.
drier than than when they were before, but
Yeah.
it's really only when I wake up that they're dry.
Yeah, it's especially bad overnight.
But then I do a little squirt of the artificial eye juice, and it do the good. And for the rest of the day, I'm pretty much good. I just have to do the, the regular treatment eye drops for a long
Those
period
should
of
be
time.
ending soon, huh?
No, because I got PRK, not LASIK.
Oh, okay. So you did a different one. I did LASIK.
Yeah, PRK is sort of it takes longer to heal, but generally the results are the same with smaller chances for side effects and smaller chances for any future problems just based on
Issues.
the
Yeah.
type of surgery that you're getting.
Is it
Nothing.
a similar procedure for PRK as it is for LASIK?
No, not at
No,
all.
not at all.
Not
Because,
at all.
like,
So,
I for one thing, I get really squeamish about eyes, and
then I'm
anytime
not
like
gonna tell
something
you what the
goes
difference
into
is.
eyes and stuff, like, so I think it's on how it's made. Eons
Oh?
ago, on how it's made
Oh?
episode, I think it was, they showed you
Okay.
how LASIK was performed
Right.
and how like they cut most of the pupil off and like they pull
You
it back
can't-
like a flap of skin.
You can't
And
cut the
then
pupil.
they
It's the
shoot
cornea. The word is
thing-
the cornea. The
Okay.
pupil is a hole.
The pupil is like the lack of things. The whole,
Yeah,
I don't
for
know
one
eye
thing.
parts. I'm not
Okay.
an optometrician.
So, Angela, what you're describing is LASIK, and
Yeah,
the reason they do it
and
that way is because if you
I
resurface the cornea
physically
underneath.
felt ill
Oh.
when I watched that. Oh my
Okay.
god.
Well, okay.
So anybody listening, if you get really sick seeing eye stuff,
It is a
go
bit of a
watch it. It's
yeah.
great.
It's a bit of a
No.
trigger warning. Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird to see. Like it's one thing to have it explained to you, but to actually see it being performed, like any surgery, I think seeing surgery performed is kind of weird, but especially eyeballs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they do that because it's easier for the cornea to heal if
A
it's
small
underneath
spot.
than
Yeah.
on the surface. So PRK is the total opposite. They do resurfacing instead of
I literally got
of
layers
Oh
of.
no!
I got my.
They
I got.
sanded your eyeball down.
Yeah,
basically
they essentially did
with
rough
laser.
Oh,
with
no.
rough man skin that's never been treated.
Yes, with rough chin
Is
skin.
Yeah,
that where my explanations
the
have been
doctor just
going?
took out his calloused thumbs and he rubbed them against my eyes.
Until
And said,
smooth.
yeah.
Rub until smooth.
Oh my god!
But yeah, so that is the difference, and it's why it takes much longer for PRK
to
to
heal.
heal short period,
Oh
like
yeah,
short
that
term.
sounds way worse.
Short
Oh
term,
my god!
it takes up to about a week for it to really like be comfortable, and then
Mm-hmm.
long term, it takes about 9 months to be considered
Stabilize.
fully healed. And then,
Yeah.
but
Oh
LASIK
wow!
is much shorter. I think the initial period's about 72 hours, and the entirety of the period is maybe 2 or 3 months at the most, really.
Yeah, so when I
But
had
like you're
LASIK,
saying,
the
oh
the advanced warning that came with it was try not to go into any pools until the first 4 weeks are up. And I'm
Yeah,
like, is that it? And they're like, yeah,
sometimes you
and
just stumble into a pool.
yeah, just don't go
You
into
get
any
attacked
pools.
by a
Don't get
pool,
any chlorinated water
you
in
know.
your eyes.
Sometimes I'm
Don't
just
use
walking
eye drops
home.
that are not.
I'm walking home late
Yeah.
at night, and all of a sudden, sploosh,
Yeah, exactly.
pool.
Just someone tackled me into their pool. I don't understand how this
Right?
happened.
Um,
But
yeah.
yeah.
The first 72 hours, I would say the 48 hours actually. The first 48 hours suck the most. I mostly, it's not like I couldn't see. It's just things were blurry and my eyes were unfocused. Like one eye definitely had a stronger prescription healing when at first, and I just didn't really want to look at things because I was like light sensitive and stuff as well. So I was mostly hanging in the living
Totally.
room, listening to like podcasts or whatever audio entertainment I could find because I didn't need to look at stuff. I couldn't really focus on my phone too much or any kind of text. At this point, which is about two and a two and a bit weeks in, things are pretty good. Very clear vision for the most part. Just still get a little bit of, I wouldn't want to call it
Stabilizing.
blurriness. Yeah, it's sort of just a clarity thing where um, sometimes it just means that I need to put in more eye juice. Sometimes it just means that I need to look away from a screen for a little bit, like maybe 5-10 minutes, just to rest my eyes a little bit. But overall, it's been pretty good. Um, and again, the only differences between PRK and LASIK that I really heard about is just fewer chances for side effects, especially dry eye.
Yeah.
That's
It's
fair.
still going to happen though because any injury to the cornea will disrupt any ability for your eye to maintain moisture at a decent level for a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But in taking that time, because like I was like, I was planning on getting LASIK sort of for the past few years, but I wanted to get it honestly at this period of time, within this period of time, because so many things aren't happening right now anyways. So it was like, if I need a healing period for it and everything, I might as well get it done now and sort of use this pause in our general society as sort of a way to progress myself a little bit.
A good opportunity.
Right? I got to
Mhm.
but I mean, I did, like aside from the eye thing, it's I really just got to catch up on some series. Like I finally finished Adventure Time. I watched the
Yay!
first.
Nice.
I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I'm probably not gonna watch Korra.
Yeah.
What else did I watch? I watched Carol and Tuesday.
Yay!
Um,
These are like all the things I've been wanting you to watch for the last year. I'm so happy.
yeah, I crushed a bunch of stuff. I still need to. I was gonna finish Steven Universe. That was the last one, but
Oh, I haven't watched most of Steven Universe, so I
Steven
should
Universe
probably
is good.
watch that.
Yeah,
I think I haven't seen anything past season 2 of Steven Universe. I don't know.
It's
I
like it's
started
good. I can
She-Ra.
understand that it's not always for everyone, but I've always liked shows with good music, and Steven Universe does focus on the music, just like Carol and
I
Tuesday
think it was
focuses on
when like
music.
Blue Girl went to the bottom of the ocean
Right.
and something about Red Girl
It gets
Jasper or
pretty,
something.
yeah, it gets
I don't
pretty
know.
psychedelic.
That's the last bit that I remember of it.
Honestly, that was a pretty good
Hmm.
part. That was a pretty good arc. So I don't know if you left before like the good stuff really was happening, but
I only really got to the point where we discover where Garnet comes from.
right.
And that happens quite early. Like that's probably like what
That's
end of
honestly,
season
that's only like a few
1, 2.
weeks. No, that's only like a half a season before where Angelo was talking about, really.
Oh, okay. Well, I still don't. Yeah, I didn't watch past that, so that's the last thing I remember.
But yeah, I've caught up on a bunch of my shows. I can see,
You
which
can
is nice.
see.
Dude, the weirdest thing. These are the two weirdest things are waking up in the morning and not the dry eye thing, but not having to put on glasses anymore is just sort of
I
weird
see.
because I've been wearing
Yeah.
glasses since about grade 3 or grade 4.
Hmm.
And the other weird thing that happens is that I hit myself in the face
Oh,
randomly. Like
what?
oh, like because like I want to adjust my glasses all the time. Like I would adjust my
Oh.
glasses frames, and
So
I
it's
usually don't do
just
the
about
thing
going
where
to.
like I don't like do the anime finger thing like where I push up like the nose, or I don't really like sort of make a C shape and like adjust the thing. I usually just like sort of nudge it with the back of my hand a little bit, like a how like a
Uh-huh.
cat does the yeah. Angela's got it like how a cat does a thing like when it rubs
Oh my god.
its face with the back of its paw. Except so I just kind of do a gentle like nudge to the back of my like around the T area of my face,
Mhm.
and that happens probably once a day at this point.
Oh,
Cause like,
interesting.
cause the mental of it, I can explain
Phantom
exactly
glasses
why.
syndrome.
Yeah, I can explain why exactly, which is I can see clearly, so therefore my glasses must be on my face. Therefore, there must be some adjusting I could probably do just to push it back up on my face, and therefore I hit myself in the face like probably once a day at this point. Not very often, but enough that it's like I do it, and then like 3 seconds later, I'm like, why did I do that? Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So, when I got LASIK, I was at a point in my adult life where I had constantly spent my entire life up to then trying to not wear glasses as much as I can. Obviously, I would wear them to drive, but that was the only time I would wear them. And then, like, there was the odd time in university where I needed them to see, like, all the way across the auditorium to see what the heck the teacher's talking about.
Right.
Um, and so I didn't have like the ingrained responses of what it's like to have glasses on all the time. But I will say the best thing was being able to go to bed and still be able to see everything around in my room when I was like, turning lights out and stuff.
Hmm.
So,
That,
very similar thing to what Jay is saying. Just
yeah.
like I can wake up now and I can see without needing to put my
Yeah.
glasses on.
Can
It.
confirm being able to see is thoroughly good.
Yeah. The other weird part is sort of going to take a shower or any other situation where I would normally have my glasses off. Like I just see more clearly in the shower. Not that I really needed to. It doesn't really change how I want to grab like for a shampoo bottle or something like that. It's just yeah, I guess I can see more in the shower or in the bathroom when I usually would have my glasses off. Um, going to sort of right before I go to bed. It's just like the everyday sharpness of life is
Hmm.
sort of weird.
But like, so because I didn't like wearing glasses, and I know that not everyone hates wearing glasses, but for me it was particularly burdensome for some reason. I started wearing contacts, and having crystal clear vision without having to feel glasses on my face was like a very short hop step to okay, I'm seriously considering getting eye surgery.
Oh, oh,
Hmm.
every time I see people like touch their eyes to put in contacts, it makes me like, yeah.
Oh, I can totally do that. I have no thing about. I will. Can I?
I
We're
don't
getting
have
close to
anything
the end of the
strange about
episode.
either.
But
Yeah.
I only want to say two more quick things about the eye surgery thing.
Hmm.
First of all, the eye surgery takes very little time. It was like maybe a minute per eye
Per
in
eye.
terms
Yeah,
of the
it's like
He
actual
really just had to
process.
rub his rough thumb right in there, eh?
Well, I mean, his
And just
eye,
like,
his thumbs are
and he's
really, and
done.
and they have
He's
like,
got
that
like 80
surgical
grit
precision,
thumbs.
that surgical precision that there's no like jitter. It's very precise. No, but like, it was such a cool light show. Like it's just like this laser that targets the eye,
Oh, I
and then
could have
like
met.
when they're doing the actual process, it's just like I remember it was literally like rainbows of like a rainbow
That has to be
pool
the
of like
coolest shit.
red, yellow, orange, green, blue, like the whole thing, and just like pulsating
what?
in my eye. Yeah,
What?
because the PRK procedures, because it's different from the LASIK procedure, you get a different kind of visual effect to it, and it was really interesting. It happened for both eyes. Um, and then you got that weird smell of burnt cornea, which smells like burnt hair.
Oh no.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then
That's true. I forgot about
um,
that.
what was the other thing? It had to do with I'm trying to remember because it's right. The the weird thing now is that because my my eye's cornea acts as like a enhanced lens, right? And I have essentially um, hyper focused like focal distance now. I can no longer focus on things closer to my face than about 4 or 5 inches away from my face.
Interesting.
So like if I'm trying to read like a pill bottle or something that has small text, um, it used to be that I would bring it up close to my face and I'd be able to read it. It would probably be about 2, maybe 3 inches away from my eyes for me to be able to like focus. But if I do that now, it's blurry. Like I can't really see it even if I close one eye. It has nothing to do with like binocular vision. But if I bring it out to about 4, 5, or 6 inches away from my eyes, like about double the focal distance, I can read it perfectly. So I can no longer observe details sort of naturally, if you would want to say that, because I think normally back in the day, which is again only 2 weeks ago now, I'd be able to bring something close and be like, sort of observe it, but it feels like I can do that at a much farther distance. Yeah, I don't know, it's weird. My behaviors have to change because of my eyesight.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's really cool, and I'm super happy that you sprung for it.
Welcome to the Having Eyes Club.
Thanks.
The Laser Eye Club.
It's been nice. I'm
Oh
hoping.
no, Laser Eye Club is very exclusive. Just good eyes. Good Eyes Club.
Welcome to the having your eyes been rubbed
Being able
by
to see.
calloused thumbs club.
Speaking of really weird vision things, I've noticed
Yeah.
that because we're not leaving the house and therefore not driving very much anymore,
Yeah,
when
I
I do
agree about the
drive
driving.
and I have to look, well, when we do drive and I have to look like, far away to read signs and like see where we're going and all that stuff,
Right.
it feels weird because I'm not used to looking that far away anymore. Like the farthest thing I look at these days is the other side of the room, whatever room I'm in.
I'm
not used to having to
pandemic
look.
traffic.
See, if you
Yeah.
went out and biked and stuff, then it would be different because I'm going biking and it's the opposite. I still look at things at the distance.
I drive the same amount as I did before, so that's just not a thing for me.
Yeah, I would say the same. I drive the same as I did before. Maybe even less.
Oh, I definitely drive less than I used to, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just, like, you can't... I wouldn't say that it's the same kind of distance as if you were on a bike. When you're on a bike, it's like you're looking, maximum 25, 30 meters ahead of you. When you're on the highway, you're looking quite a ways down.
No,
it's
I think it's
weird.
I think it's a different kind of distance that you're looking at. When you're biking, you have to be much more peripherally aware. You're looking left and right much more than you would when you're driving. When you're driving, you tend to look forward or slightly left and slightly right of forward more often. But when you're biking, you need to be looking left, right, and center.
Okay, that's
much
fair.
more. So,
That's totally fair.
yeah. Just a completely different sort of focus and skill set.
True.
To bike safely, especially downtown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do we have anything else that we really super want to cover?
Nothing I
that's
can't
it
talk
for
about
now.
next time.
All right. In that case, we'll end the episode here. Thank everyone for listening. I can't believe we've got up to season 5 and over 100 episodes at this point. So, pretty crazy. We're gonna keep on going and going and going and going until we can't go anymore.
Here's to a solid season 6 ahead of us.
Yeah,
Indeed.
and just like we were saying at the beginning of the episode, please keep your eye out for our announcements for our digital events, and also we're slight spoilers, probably doing something in real world soon as well. So join us for that if you feel up for that.
Meat space.
But
I thought the real world was just a legend.
Right? If you die in real life, you die in real life.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
The
twist.
Yeah, but we'll be aware of social distancing procedures and things like that as well. No more news than that, but that's just a little teaser. Until then, hope everyone stays safe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Signing off. Good night.
Bye bye.